So statistically speaking, 47 to 90% of new podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes. And of those that do, most don't make it past 20 episodes. And here we are, sitting at 50 episodes in, 379 listeners across all platforms, and we have completed 1 year of this journey, this podcasting journey. In this journey of healing, I have had to learn to set boundaries. It was literally February, March, where I was so afraid to set boundaries and so afraid of the people that I was going to lose, or how were they going to react to me setting a boundary. And once I stepped into that healing of setting a boundary and realizing it's okay to speak up for myself, it's okay to protect myself and set these boundaries, I quickly learned who was for me and who wasn't. Just remember, there's going to be moments throughout 2026 where we feel stuck, where we feel like everything is happening so fast, maybe overwhelming. And remember, life is always happening for you, not to you. And you're going to be okay. And if ever there's a time that comes where you feel overwhelmed, I want you to stop and I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to work on what you're grateful for in that moment when you're overwhelmed. Hello, welcome back to Healing Momma Podcast. I am Val, aka Healing Momma, and today is a very special episode. It is episode 50. I am so grateful. I'm in awe and I feel so loved and just blessed. This episode is going to be different. It's not going to be trauma filled or raw or going over any kind of pains or traumas or anything like that. This is really just a recap of this year that I've been doing podcasting and a recap of the healing and the growth that I've had over the years. So it's going to be a little bit different. Bear with me. Today is about reflection, gratitude, appreciation, and let's be honest, it's about celebration. We are officially a 1-year-old podcast. Cue the background noise. So back in January 2025, I was feeling called to share my story. And I was scared, I was anxious. I kept telling myself, no, who am I to share my story? Who am I to speak to other people about healing if I'm just starting this journey myself? And then I thought to myself, well, I'm pretty sure other people are going through something in their life and maybe even starting a healing journey, and they feel like they're alone. So I felt like it was my higher power telling me it's time. It's time for me to put myself out there. It's time to share my story. And it's time to extend a hand to people in need. At the same time, it was also time for me to stop hiding my story. It was time for me to stop carrying everything alone. And finally, it was time for me to speak up, not just for others, but for the version of me, little Val, who hadn't defended herself or spoken up or worked towards healing her entire life. And if I'm being totally honest, it scared me. And sometimes it still scares me today. Still putting myself out there, still being vulnerable. I find myself at times thinking of episodes to, talk about and speak to you guys about. And I could feel the old version of me trying to make sure that I'm walking on eggshells, not to offend anybody. And then there's the healed version of me that says, no, this is your truth. This is your story. It's your time to step into that power, and you put yourself first. And honestly, I questioned myself constantly throughout this journey on, should I continue to do it? Am I helping others? And every time that I would start to question myself or feel like, hey, I'm putting in this effort, this work, is it reaching people? And every time I would get in that headspace, my higher power, who is God, would send me someone in my DMs or in a message that would say, man, I really needed to hear this today. Man, I cried listening to this today. Thank you so much. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And that told me that I'm where I'm supposed to be at this exact point in time in my life, sharing my story with you guys. And I feel like what keeps me going is the strength that I receive from my higher power, just to continue to be my true authentic self and push forward no matter what. The love and the support that I get from you guys is huge, and it keeps me going as well. And I love to hear when you share your stories or when you say, hey, I had a bad day. And when I was having this bad day, I came across this video and this helped me. That helps me in return. So, as much as you guys have sat there and told me you help me, it's also that you're helping me as well. You're helping me continue to grow and continue to share and supporting me, and that means the world to me. So I want you to know how deeply grateful I am for each and every one of you, for every single one of you that has clicked follow, subscribe, liked, shared, and has been on this journey with me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you so much. Even if you're not following me and you just press play and you listen or you scroll and you find a short, thank you for listening and for giving me your time. I'm grateful for the comments, the reviews, the likes, the shares, the DMs that say, you put into words what I couldn't. I felt seen. I thought I was alone until I found your podcast. That means so much to me from the bottom of my heart. That means so much because that's all this is about. Again, I don't get paid to do this. I put in time and effort into filming and editing, and it's all worth it to get these DMs, to get these messages, and I appreciate them from the bottom of my heart. And when I read those messages, they remind me why this matters, why this is important. Because at the end of the day, the goal has never been about perfection. Not for me, at least, not in this journey. It's been about connection, connecting with the viewers, the listeners, and letting you know that I'm right there with you. I'm in the same spot, holding your hand. I could hold a place for you in my heart, and we can get through this journey together. And to share my story so that you know you're not broken, so that you know you're not alone, you're not behind in this life, and that you do have someone by your side. So let's just be real for a second. Sometimes people can look at podcasting and say, oh my God, wow, they have a podcast. It looks glamorous, beautiful, easy. But let me give you the truth. It takes hard work. It takes consistency. It takes dedication. It takes you being the truest version of yourself and being real and authentic. And let's be real, it takes a whole lot of faith. So, statistically speaking, 47 to 90% of new podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes. And of those that do, those don't most don't make it past 20 episodes. And here I am, here we are, 50 episodes in, through the grace of God, my higher power, sharing my story and pushing through into 2026. And I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. So in January 2025, I decided to start this podcast. And January 2026, we are sitting at 50 episodes in, 379 listeners across all platforms, and we have completed 1 year of this journey, this podcasting journey. I'm so blessed, guys. So blessed, so grateful, so appreciative. Thank you. I thank my higher power. And I know that great things are coming, and that means everything. That means absolutely everything to me. And I won't pretend that this journey has been perfect or easy. I've definitely had the naysayers and chatter, static in between the words. Static in between the words is what I'll call it. Of the, hey, she thinks she's this, she thinks she's that. Oh, her little followers or her little podcast. No, baby. My blessed podcast. A podcast that is reaching out to help others, something that a lot of people are afraid to do. But through the grace of God and through the strength of God, I've been able to share my story with others. There have been times where I felt misunderstood, where I felt small. There have been times where I wanted to pull back, but every time I thought about stopping, something pulled me in deeper. Something reminded me that all of this isn't about validation. This is about obedience, because I feel like I'm called to do this. I feel like I'm called to share my story with you, to remind you that life is happening for you, not to you, to remind you that whatever you're going through, you're going to grow through. And of course, also to remind you that healing is not something that's linear. It's going to be up, down, sideways. Sometimes we're going to take a couple steps backwards, but all that matters is that we're working towards healing. So I have a few quotes that really stood out to me this year that I wanted to share with you. So the first one is, I didn't change. I healed, and healing looks selfish to people who were comfortable crossing my boundaries. That's a good one. Healing looks selfish to people who were comfortable crossing my boundaries. This one really speaks to my life because in this journey of healing, I have had to learn to set boundaries. It was literally February, March where I was so afraid to set boundaries and so afraid of the people that I was going to lose or how were they going to react to me setting a boundary. And once I stepped into that healing of setting a boundary and realizing it's okay to speak up for myself, it's okay to protect myself and set these boundaries, I quickly learned who was for me and who wasn't, who had to stay behind in my life, and who got to continue to move forward. Because if they stayed behind, that means they didn't accept my boundaries. That means that they couldn't handle me saying, hey, you don't get to disrespect me. Hey, you don't get to come first. I put myself first. And if you can't respect that, then you don't get to move forward with me in the next stages of life. And I'm okay with that. So remember, setting boundaries isn't easy, but it's about taking care of you. And if the person that you're setting the boundary with isn't comfortable with that boundary or doesn't respect that boundary, it's because they don't respect you. Healing required me to say no without explanation. Healing required me to choose myself without apologizing, to stop shrinking in order to make others feel comfortable. And if it did make somebody feel uncomfortable, that's not my responsibility. And my hope is that through this healing journey, through listening to Healing Momma podcast, that you too have learned to speak up for the little version of you inside. And the second quote that I have is the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And for so many years, I thought my pain, my past, my traumas, my hurt, I thought that was who I was. I thought that was my DNA, and it was never the case. What was happening is that I was allowing my trauma to define me, my pain to define me. And I thought that my past was my worth, and none of that is the case. None of that is true. At my core, I'm love, I'm light, I am happiness, I am joy, I am healing, I am peace. And I never truly understood that until I fully committed to the healing journey. So I want to close out with some reminders that I saw on Facebook from a page called Finding Your Peace. I really felt like this message spoke to me, and so I wanted to share it with you guys into 2026. Choose people who choose you, know your worth, protect your peace, accept what you can't change, trust the timing of your life, be proud of your progress, keep learning and growing, love yourself first and always, and stop comparing yourself to others. So let those things sink in. And always remember, you're doing better. You're doing better than you think. Growth isn't always loud. It isn't dramatic. Most of the time, it's actually silent, and we are doing it by ourselves. And I want you to remember to choose you. Choose rest, not burnout. Choose peace, not anger. Choose love, not hate. Make sure you set boundaries and you take care of yourself. And I want you to remember going into this new year that you don't have to become this new version of yourself or try to be somebody that you're not. Choose you and work on healing that little version of you on the inside, because that little version of you is so worthy and enough. And remember, you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to know the path. That's why there's other people your higher power is placing in your way in front of you to help guide you through it. And also, you don't have to carry what isn't yours, the weight of other people's pains, traumas, hurts. You don't have to carry that. Let that go in 2025 and go into 2026 free. And just remember, there's going to be moments throughout 2026 where we feel stuck, where we feel like everything is happening so fast and maybe overwhelming. And remember, life is always happening for you, not to you. And you're going to be okay. And if ever there's a time that comes where you feel overwhelmed, I want you to stop and I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to work on what you're grateful for in that moment when you're overwhelmed. Are you grateful that you're alive, that you woke up, that you have your senses, that you can breathe, that you can smell, that your heart is beating, that you have family, that you have a roof over your head? Whatever the case is, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, stop and get into those gratitudes. And always remember that as we go through this journey, and like I said, most of us do it in silence. You're growing, and it's a growth that no one sees, so no one's clapping for it. And if people do see it, some might clap for it, others might hate on it. But keep growing for you and the generations to come. And in 2026, let this be the year that you give yourself more grace, more love, more attention, more focus on yourself. And always remember, you're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to outgrow situations, environments, whatever doesn't hold your greatest and highest good. You're allowed to outgrow that, and you're allowed to say, no, not anymore. So to wrap this up again, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am so blessed, so grateful to have each and every one of you that listen, that share, that follow. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for growing with me. Thank you for sharing your stories. And thank you for the support. I appreciate you all and I wish you the best in 2026. I send you so much love, joy, peace. Please, if you can like, share, comment, subscribe. I am on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, most platforms you can find me at Healing Momma Podcast. And on TikTok, you can find me at Healing Momma Pod. I send you so much love. And I wish you all the best in this year. We're going to do great and amazing things this year, guys. Buckle your seatbelts because we're heading for a new, amazing journey of growth. And just a reminder, and I do want to let everyone know that I will be taking a 2-week break before starting season 3, just to allow myself some time. But I appreciate you so much. Season 3 will start and go live January 23rd. And so I look forward to that day. And I send you so much love. And I hope you guys truly enjoyed your holidays. And let's get it 2026. Thanks. Bye, guys.